We're seeing the images, including the flag being burned. What are they shouting?
The United States was once again on the verge of civil war after immigration and customs enforcement officers killed an unarmed woman. Right now, a wave of protests is sweeping across America. People are burning United States flags, shouting for justice with signs saying "Fact Trump" and making anti-government posters. And there have already been the first clashes with the police and immigration and customs enforcement officers. The thing is, the day before, the United States Immigration Service shot and killed a woman during the revolution in Minneapolis. She blocked the road with her car and allegedly tried to run over one of the immigration and customs enforcement officers. And that's when Mayor Minneapolis stood up for the woman and demanded that the Immigration Service, quote, "get the hell out of the city." Meanwhile, Donald Trump and the White House defended the Immigration Service. They called the woman who was killed a radical and claimed that she, quote, "deliberately and brutally ran over the immigration and customs enforcement officer who shot her in self-defense." It got to the point where the United States Secretary of Homeland Security, Christina Ohm, even stated that this was a coordinated action by radicals. And here it's important to add one very important remark. In this same city in 2020, a police officer killed George Floyd, after which mass protests began. Black Lives Matter. And this time, anything could happen again. Let's break down what happened in this episode and what it might lead to. We'll analyze what happened frame by frame and try to understand who is right in this whole story. My name is Alexei Pecci. Let's discuss this topic together, but before we start, I ask you to subscribe to this channel, leave a like and write any comment under this episode. This helps promote the video on YouTube and I'd appreciate it. Also, subscribe to my Telegram channel, the link is in the video description. There we publish breaking news as soon as it comes in. So, the residents of the American city of Minneapolis are outraged and are now protesting after a United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement agent shot and killed 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good at point-blank range on Wednesday. The shooting occurred after the federal government tightened enforcement of immigration laws following a welfare scandal that essentially led the governor to withdraw his candidacy for re-election. It should be noted right away that the woman killed by the agents, Good, was a United States citizen and a mother of 3 children. And her husband, the father of the youngest child who died 3 years ago, was a veteran of the United States Army. So, she definitely had nothing to do with the fight against migrants, and she certainly was not an illegal immigrant in the United States. The relatives of the murdered woman said that she had taken her 6-year-old son to school and was on her way home with her partner. But Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents, or United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement, blocked their way. When the police officers approached them, the woman tried to drive away, after which an Immigration and Customs Enforcement agent shot her in the head. And now we've come to the analysis of the video recordings that are currently available. After an Immigration and Customs Enforcement officer shot a woman in Minneapolis on Wednesday. The President of the United States stated that the video of the incident showed the woman brutally, intentionally, and maliciously running over the Immigration and Customs Enforcement officer. The United States Department of Homeland Security, in the initial stage after the shooting, also stated in its statement that the woman tried to run over the officers with her car and intentionally tried to kill the agents. Later, Senator Tina Smith, a Democrat from Minnesota, where all of this is happening, she identified the woman as 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good and stated that she definitely did not intend to kill anyone. United States Secretary of Homeland Security Christina M. stated at a press conference in Texas that the woman attacked police officers and tried to run them over and ram them with her car after the officers got stuck in the snow. However, 3 video recordings from the scene show some details that do not match the official version of the American government. So what do the videos show? In one video, the woman is first seen in her car, parked perpendicular in the middle of the street. Well, you can see that the car is really blocking the road, or that's just how she stopped. And here it's important to note that the woman's SUV might be standing perpendicular on the road like that because something is blocking her way. Another gray car, which supposedly belongs to the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Service, and apparently Christina M. is referring to this car, saying that it just got stuck in the snow and didn't block the road for this woman in any way. And in this video, you can see the officer, who will soon shoot this woman, walking behind her car toward the front of the vehicle. Another person, by the way, not wearing a uniform so it's unclear who he is, follows this officer and apparently records everything happening on his phone. Then 2 federal officers arrive at the car in a pickup truck, and you can see the woman waving to him from the window. The officers get out of the pickup truck and approach the woman's car. In the video, you can clearly hear the Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents approaching the car, shouting several times, "Get out of the car!" And then they start cursing and yelling rudely, "Get out of the car!"
Subtitle editor.
And the proofreader is Yegorova.
Next, the video shows one of the 2 officers pulling on the woman's driver's door while the other officer approaches the front of the car from the other side, trying to block the vehicle's movement. Most likely, at that moment, the woman doesn't even see the officer who approached the car from the front, because all her attention is focused on the agent who is trying to open the car door at that very moment. The one who is next to her is trying to pull the handle, trying to open that door. And I can assume that at this moment the woman might not even see the person standing in front of the car. Then the car starts moving in reverse, while one officer continues to pull the door handle and the other officer is in front of the car. Eventually the car starts moving forward, and at the same time a 3rd officer who approached the car pulls out a gun and points it at the woman, stepping away from the front of the car. So you can see that he steps back, and that's where the video cuts off. But it's important to note here that in the video recorded from another angle, you can actually see the woman's car hitting the police officer before he fires the first shot at the driver.
The car makes contact with the officer before he fires his gun. Then the car accelerates and crashes into a nearby parked car.
But let me point out again that at this time, the woman is most likely being engaged by another officer, who is also trying to open her car door at the same moment. In the first video, you can see the officer moving from the front of the car toward the driver. Then, the officer, who is outside the path of the moving car, fires 2 more shots at the woman who is behind the wheel. The video shows the officer holstering his gun as the car moves forward, after which it suddenly accelerates and crashes into another car and a pole on the side of the road. At that point, the driver had probably already been shot by the agents. The video shows the officer who fired the shots and the person who was apparently recording him. In the video, they run toward the car and the woman. And then you can see the officer moving away from the car and telling others to call 911. And after all that happened, Donald Trump's administration comes to the officer's defense. A representative of the Department of Homeland Security, Christina Ohm, stated that the federal agent, quote, used his training to save his own life and the lives of his colleagues. She stated that the woman who was killed Good allegedly, quote, was pursuing the officers and interfering with their work throughout the day and tried to use her car as a weapon to deliberately run over an officer. According to OM, the woman was allegedly not taking any child to school and was not returning home at that moment, but was allegedly deliberately following immigration and customs enforcement agents and interfering with their work throughout the day. And then there was the climax, when they decided for some reason to point a weapon at her. The President of the United States, Donald Trump, also spoke out in defense of the immigration agents. Trump accused, as he put it, quote, the radical left of threats, attacks, and targeted actions. In the actions of our employees, law enforcement officers, and immigration and customs enforcement agents, all the rhetoric from Trump's team boils down to the idea that the agents are not to blame, and the woman who was killed was part of some planned provocative operation against immigration and customs enforcement agents. At the same time, Minnesota politicians are outraged. They accuse Donald Trump's administration, saying that its harsh immigration measures led to the deadly shooting. Continuation. And Governor Tim Walz warned that he is even ready to deploy the state's National Guard to confront immigration and customs enforcement agents. The mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Frey, refuted the Department of Homeland Security's version and called on the agents to get the hell out of Minneapolis. He also stated that this moment in Minneapolis is testing the resilience of our republic, hinting that this is not just a problem for one state, but a problem for the whole country. Currently, protests against immigration and customs enforcement agents' actions continue in Minneapolis. The chief of the Minneapolis Police Department, Brian O'Hara, stated that tensions in the city had actually been building for several weeks before yesterday's deadly shooting. Here's his quote: "I have openly stated that I was concerned, first of all, that a tragedy could occur, that a federal law enforcement officer or a civilian community member could be seriously injured or killed. And also that such an escalation of tension and the many emotions surrounding these issues could lead to civil unrest." Which is exactly what happened in our city 5 years ago, when we experienced truly the most terrible and destructive civil unrest in the history of our country. By the way, that was a reference to Black Lives Matter after the police killed George Floyd. So, basically, it means that a similar tragedy had already happened 5 years ago, and now everything was leading up to it again. At the same time, Donald Trump's team also sent United States Border Patrol agents to the state of Minnesota. It was stated that they are a mix of the agency's Special Rapid Response Team and the Border Patrol's Tactical Unit. Border Patrol Tactical Unit officers, as they are called for short, are usually trained in crowd control and dispersal. Pepper spray and tear gas are among their tools. Agents use them for crowd control, and there are already videos showing agents using gas against protesters to disperse the crowd. And overall, the footage shows that federal agents, officers, and law enforcement representatives aren't exactly gentle with the protesters. And now it's already known that Minnesota schools have been closed for at least a week, as the authorities fear protests similar to the events of 2020. After George's death, subtitles by Dima Torzok. We'll keep following the situation. For now, I'll leave it at that. Share your opinions, emotions, and conclusions in the comments below this episode. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and don't forget to like. That's all for now. Take care. Goodbye, everyone.